Hello, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how I've set up my A7R Mark III. This camera has lots of features and lots of customizable buttons. To the uninitiated, this might be quite bewildering. I'm hoping this video is going to help someone who's already bought the camera, or maybe someone who's thinking of buying it to make a purchasing decision. So let's get right into it, how I've set my camera up. So here's a quick overview of the button layout. We've got C1 and C2 over here. We've got C4 down there, C3 up there. We've got a scroll wheel. We've got a center button. We've got a joystick thing. We've got an AF on button and an AEL button. So all of these buttons can be customized. So let's just have a look at how I've customized mine. Okay, so the first thing is the default focusing thing. As you can see over here, I've got AFC, that's autofocus continuous. I prefer this because this way you can just half press the shutter button and you can see the green squares. They're lighting up various bits of the screen where it's focusing. Okay. However, this isn't ideal for everybody. So some people might want to have spot focusing, and here I've got the touch screen activated. So here I just press something and it focuses on that spot. You see, I can move that point anywhere around and it will focus on that. Obviously you need something to focus on. There we are. You see? And this point can also be moved around using the joystick over here. So that's very useful. So this way I can have autofocus continuous and spot focusing all at the same time. And if I want to cancel that, all I've got to do is press the joystick in and it's cancelled, and immediately it's back on autofocus continuous. The reason why I have it on autofocus continuous is because I've also got eye detect autofocus programmed to this center button over here. Okay, so if I press that down, if there's a face in the picture, it will focus on that eye, which is very, very useful. Okay, you've also got this AF button, and this basically is another way. This is basically back button autofocus. Okay, like I said before, you've also got the center button. If you hold that down, it will focus on whatever's in the center, and that way you can do focus and recompose if you wanted to, right? But my general my general standard thing is autofocus continuous with the wide autofocus zone, with eye autofocus programmed in for this button, and the touch screen enabled. This C4 button, it turns the touch screen off. So now if I touch anything, nothing happens. Okay, so I have to activate the touch screen like that, and now you got touch focus. Really, it's touch focus point. It doesn't focus it automatically. I still have to half press the shutter button. So that's what I've got for C4. Okay, let's just cancel that button like so. Now let's talk about C1 and C2. So these are the buttons up here. So let's talk about C2 first of all, and pay attention to this. Autofocus continuous to manual focus. Now suddenly I've got manual focus, right? And if I want to zoom in, I press C1, and that gives me a zone, and I can zoom in, focus it, zoom in even more to get critical focus. There we are. Perfect. Okay, and press C1 again to zoom outwards. Press C2 again to put it back into autofocus continuous. Okay, so far I've shown you how I've set up my autofocus settings. Okay, so let's think about these dials now. So we've got a couple of dials here. I've got the front dial, and what that does is it changes, as you can see down here, it changes the shutter speed. I've got the rear dial, and that changes the aperture. The ISO, you have to press the button and then you can change it. I always leave it on automatic. Okay. And well, that's all your exposure settings. We've also got this dial over here, the exposure compensation dial. And this is useful if you've got it on A, S, or P mode, where you can turn it and it gives you a little bit of exposure compensation. If I'm on manual mode, obviously it's not going to do anything at all. Then we've got C3. I programmed C3 for silent shooting. So right now it's off, and if I take a picture, you can hear it. It's right into the card now. There we are. If I have it on, completely silent. So I find that's quite useful to have. Say, for example, if you're somewhere you don't want to make any noise, you just press this button and you can have it on or off. Generally, I like to hear the noise of the shutter, so I'm going to have this button here for off, okay? But if you wanted it silent, you could. I think that's it for the customization. It's quite an easy setup, I think. Makes it very easy to, of course, you've got this this button here. It locks the exposure. There we are. So there we have it, the Sony A7riii. You don't have to go menu diving. You can just sit down for an hour, configure your camera just like this, and then suddenly you've got a very easy to use camera. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.